And and all my work is, through the Fish and Game Department, and I work for the Non-Game Endangered Wildlife Program, which is run mostly through federal grants and donations.
Oh, well, this big giant monkey made me feel better. So let's stop being mean to this big giant monkey anymore.
Yeah, that's my food source.
He's doing stuff for us. It's fine. He's not gonna kill us, no.
Yeah.
No, it's quite fascinating that
Anybody who wants to do conservation work with endangered species in the state has to have training, has to have a scientific collection permit through us, and they have to follow some pretty strict protocols for handling animals, especially anybody who's in the pet trade, because a lot of studies now are showing that pathogens can stay on your skin for longer than they thought. And so if you're feeding your Gulf Coast box turtles in your, yard pen or whatever, and then you're going out and handling a wild eastern box turtle, you could be transmitting a pathogen to that turtle and then that population. So there's a very kind of strict protocol for working with endangered species, especially handling them. So that's the one thing that I think that anybody who wants to get involved in that stuff, contact your state agency, figure out the process, start volunteering, and get that information, get those references in place, so that you have a good idea of how these things can affect wild populations. Because I think a lot of people, don't understand how bad it can get, and it's not well public. But the reality is it's just one species as part of a bigger food web, an ecosystem, and this umbrella of biodiversity. And the one thing that we know is that as biodiversity decreases, the more pathogens jump into human populations. Because what we're doing when biodiversity gets suppressed is we're artificially selecting the specialists. And so here in Hampshire, when biodiversity gets low in certain areas, white-footed mice come and fill those gaps. White-footed mice they can survive in almost any different habitat that you put in the landscape. They also happen to be the reservoir for Lyme disease, the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. And that has serious consequences for humans, especially here in New Hampshire. It's a huge problem. And there's other parts of that, but protecting biodiversity is, going to basically be a buffer between animal disease and human disease.